good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. My session is going to be about understanding digital transformation with SuccessFactors, a ringside view with me. Why me? I'm going to tell you a little later. Your host for the next, I would say, less than 30 minutes, hopefully. All right, so a bit about me. My name is Girish Bangalore. I do happen to come from the city of Bangalore in India. And yes, Royal Challengers Bangalore is my favorite cricket team. It's a pity that AB de Villiers is no longer playing. But anyway, I'll live with it. When I'm not playing cricket or watching cricket on TV rather, I'm a solutions architect involved in SuccessFactors HXM transformation projects. I'm a developer as well. I still code a bit here and a bit there, so I still want that associated with myself. And well, I also co-founded INTEGRTR. We are a boutique SuccessFactors integrations company serving marquee customers in the Central European market. We also have developed our own integration platform to run and operate SuccessFactors integrations. Well, that's me. Let's just get straight in then. Before I do, I have a request. I cannot see you, so please participate and ask questions. Keep it lively or keep the question feed in. Probably we'll pick it up at the end of the session. Okay, let's dive directly in with a question. Why enterprises digitize? So companies digitize for a myriad of reasons, to modernize their HR landscapes, to cut operational costs, to optimize their core HR service delivery, core HR offering, and also, of course, to bring in change, to affect change. So this is a one-time opportunity for them to affect change. So often customers ask me, hey, what about HXM? What about the experience, the employee experience? I would say it's a result that comes, when all these goals come together, and when all these goals come together to deliver on a bigger whole. A single app or a generic user experience upgrade can never single-handedly bring about, better employee experiences. So it has to be the sum of the whole. So with that, sorted out, why enterprises digitize. So let me talk about how to digitize. I'm going to give you 8 strategies from my personal experience. That's going to help you win. That's going to help you succeed. For customers running SAP ERP HCM, SAP SuccessFactors HXM is an obvious choice to start off with their digitization, right? We at INTEGRTR, we have implemented over 26 SuccessFactors digitization projects in the last 4 or 5 years, quite successfully. I will talk about key strategies that I learned whilst embarking on such a journey, strategies that made the difference between success and failure. So let's dig directly in. Number 1, cliched, obvious, yet important. Get the basics right. Everything begins with a clear-cut planning out there. So define clear goals. Define things like, I'm going to go take the HXM bus and go to the cloud completely. I'm going to go cloud native by 2030. And for that, I'm going to begin planning now. I'm going to move to the cloud and have the global HR system set in SuccessFactors by 2025. Have such clear, tangible goals. I'm not saying these should be your goals, but this is an example. Such goals help you strategize periodic goals. It's going to tell you what you're going to do this quarter, this month, this week, so on and so forth. So it'll also help you choose the right people to fulfill these goals. You need at the end of the day, you need the right people to deliver the right results. So for that, assemble your dream team internally. Get your best people internally and create a team, create a crack team, and pair them up with a reliable external partner. Your partner could be, a big 5 or a boutique consulting company like ourselves. Vet them, talk to them, engage with them, because you're going to be stuck with these partners for a long time. Get your internal team, get your partner right. So then comes empowering them. So how do you empower a winning team? You empower a winning team by basically cutting all the bureaucracy, by cutting all the red tape. I have been involved in so many integration projects. Most of the times, the initial delays in a project are always because of access. This is one example of red tape. Access to success factors, elevated access to middleware, access to ABAP and whatnot. I'm not saying people do it on purpose, but this is a part of the system and it's time to break it because this costs time. Spend less time running projects and focus on delivering the right things, right? Coming to real delivery. So this one is close to my heart. We are an integration company, but it's not just here because we are an integration company. It's here because we truly believe in this. Focus on integration. A digital enterprise is one that is integrated. The first step with digitization is always getting out of your HR system silos to establish a global HR system in SuccessFactors. This forms the foundation for all further digitization. But this really is the first step. It's a complicated one, but still is the first step. At the same time, global HR system does not exist in vacuum. It's not just one system out there. A digital enterprise is one that's, like I said, truly connected, truly integrated. Integrations are the data pipelines running in and out of success factors, fulfilling key business processes like hire to pay, recruit to hire, org management, ERP, planning, whatnot. In fact, once success factors is in place, even basic processes like hire need running integration to work. So integration is vital. Integration costs form more than a third of the overall cost in the last two RFPs that I just wrote this year. That's a big slice of the overall cake, isn't it? Success factors implementation as such is quite challenging. Means I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna trivialize it at all. But there are standards described by SAP to take care of these things in terms of process design, system configuration, and general project management. Think of SAP Activate, think of Cloud ALM and whatnot SAP is introducing. But when it comes to integration, it's kind of still wild, wild west. It's not because SAP has anything to do with it. It's more because of what integration entails to it. Integration with success factors binds success factors into an existing HR landscape. It kind of makes you realize that SF is just another system, albeit in the cloud, that has to play within the defined HR landscape. It has to play nice by the rules defined in the landscape. If SAP, if success factors is going to replace a bunch of SAP HCM and non-SAP HCM systems, it kind of inherits all the interfaces that otherwise ran in and out of these systems. If there is an interface between your SAP HCM system and an IDM system, that will be broken now because your success factors is going to be the leading system of HR records. So it has to be redone there. This, my friends, is a big responsibility on the overall project team embarking on this journey. They have too many mouths to feed, too many integrations to be done. That's why I always say this is a journey. So long story short, before I go to the next slide, integration is the key. Focus on it. So how do you focus on it? That brings us to the tech side of the story. This is actually a pretty cool slide. I actually quite liked it while I made it. Invest in the right tech, right? So today's integrations need a tech platform called an iPaaS. What is an iPaaS? iPaaS is an integration platform as a service. iPaaS is basically a middleware rethought for the cloud/hybrid world with ease of development, deployment, operations, and availability. When it comes to success factors, the obvious choice for an iPaaS is SAP Cloud Platform integration. Of course, it's got a new name. It's called Cloud Integration, but I'm just going to stick with CPI because it's got a zing to it. CPI is a state-of-the-art middleware that SAP has built, and it ticks so many boxes. It's cloud first. It offers you eventing. It offers you APIs, message queues, hybrid landscapes, whatnot, out of the box, cloud first thought process. It's definitely a Gartner's darling. So we have been seeing CPI in the top right quadrant, which is like the best quadrant, which means CPI is in the big table now. And it also, most importantly, it also offers migration paths from existing legacy middlewares like PI and PO that often fly in a landscape to CPI. Last but not the least, it also offers out-of-the-box connectors to SAP and non-SAP systems. You can actually do a SAP to Salesforce integration quite easily nowadays with CPI. To sum up, it is a mature tech platform, but we are talking about investing in the right tech. Question is, would you buy an iPass simply because it's a mature, humanly tech platform that Gartner celebrates? Not really. You buy it for the content. A strong tech platform accompanied by business content in terms of plug and play integrations, also known as out of the box integrations, accelerates digitization projects. It's often even prudent to go all in with SAP CPI as a strategic middleware of choice or a strategic iPaaS of choice. Quite a lot of customers have done it. We have seen this. They have been quite successful. And at the same time, quite a lot of them have also not done it. Why, you may ask? A customer that I'm currently working with, you can see the screen here. Customer that I'm currently working with uses CPI for SuccessFactors to SAP integrations only, to integrate their S/4HANA system, their SAP HCM system. But because why? Because they're all out of the box integrations and SAP provides content for this. For the rest of the SuccessFactors interfaces, for example, SuccessFactors to ADP, SuccessFactors to Navision, Dynamics, whatnot, there are like 14, 15 of them. They fall back on MuleSoft. Why? Because MuleSoft has been around in their landscape and is already their enterprise iPaaS of choice. They have IT teams adept at MuleSoft. They have monitoring and ALM tools hooked up. So it's not prudent for them to just switch lock, stock, and barrel from MuleSoft to CPI. But at the same time, it's also not wise for them not to use SAP's middleware for SAP standard integrations. So the compromise is having both of them. Hence, context in a landscape dictates everything. People say content is the king. I accept it, and I add an addendum. If context is the king, then if content is the king, people say content is the king. Sorry, I got it wrong. People say content is the king. I accept it, and I say if content is the king, context is the queen. So content and context go hand in hand. Fair enough. So that brings us. So we have been talking a lot about SAP standard integrations, its benefits and whatnot. So let's dig deep into this right now. So what do we have here? Right in the middle, we have SuccessFactors. So you have the foundation objects of SuccessFactors. You have the user file. You have Employee Central. You have pay components and whatnot. So everything starts with this first integration here. So you have SuccessFactors getting cost elements, cost centers, and other type of cost elements from a master data system. It can be an S/4HANA system. It can be a Fin system. So there is a source and cost centers coming from there. And the second integration that you see here is basically the user integration. So you have, users that you get from an IDM system. SuccessFactors is often not the user master. So new employees are always transmitted to a user system and you get these users back. And once you have this, you can actually now start, creating employees, org structures and whatnot. And once you have hired an employee or done an event equivalent to that in SuccessFactors, then the other integrations kick in and bring this employee and org elements and everything back into the S/4HANA system or the master data system for multiple things like business partner and whatnot. But more importantly, to the SAP HCM payroll system here to complete the pay part of the hire to pay. You hire in SuccessFactors and you pay in SAP. So all these are running, all the lines, all the blue and black lines that you see here are all SAP standard integrations, most of them. And you might be thinking, okay, well, if it's SAP standard integration, must be easy, isn't it? Yes, to an extent. Standard integrations are covered as a part of SAP content offered on CPI, but that's only tech. Connecting SuccessFactors to an existing HR landscape is a functional challenge. You see, long-standing SAP HCM systems tend to accumulate process and technical debt over time. Process debt in terms of complicated processes. Think of all the various action reasons every action has in your system. A customer went live last year with us. Their action reasons on SAP, to event and event reasons on SuccessFactors. There's an Excel sheet that we have to create for that. This ran to 300 lines. So this was after we optimized their whole landscape. And to top that, think about all the complicated concurrent employment, global assignment processes that exist in the system. And this is just, I'm just scratching the surface here. There are multiple other processes to deal with in a hybrid HR like this. Moving on, process debt leads to technical debt in terms of heavy customizing, custom reports, and even custom info types. SAP is a highly hackable system, and in a very good way I'm saying this. You can build up really complicated applications if you have the right kind of adapters, right? So when SAP is connected to when SuccessFactors is connected to SAP, it's literally the order of SuccessFactors imposed on the chaos of SAP. It's quite an experience, to put it mildly. Long-standing data issues that are otherwise dealt with, sticky notes and standard operating procedures will show up. It's a time when a lot of housekeeping has to be done in order to get the integrations running. Even before the integrations come in, you need to do a lot of housekeeping in the SAP space. It's got nothing to do with integrations, but cleaning up your own house before starting off, right? So now you might be thinking, hey, if I have to do so much, what is SAP providing? So what exactly even out of the box means? Out of the box means this one. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, because this slide alone, we can talk, you can discuss for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatnot. But all I can say is all this tech that you see here is provided to you by SAP on CPI and on BIB and on the SAP system. This tech make sure that data created, that employees created, or objects created in SuccessFactors make it to a SAP system quite seamlessly in a highly secure, near instantaneous fashion over and over again. Like I said, I would not go into the depths of it. It requires a lot of time, because I have, like, I would say 10 more minutes, and I would like to touch upon the non-SAP custom integrations as well. Well, have a sound payroll strategy, I'm saying here. So what does it really mean? SAP HCM is not the only payroll system in the landscape that needs employee data. It is quite common to see many different payroll vendors flying in the landscape. The bigger the landscape, the larger is this number. Let's take for an example, this is a manufacturing customer that we worked with a couple of years ago. Bulk of its employees are in Germany, but the rest of them are spread across the globe and use different payroll systems. ADP, Gusto, Paychex, Navision, Dynamics, whatnot. We're all, small and big payroll vendors serving different, market segments. So when you embark on SuccessFactors journey, how do you keep these different payroll systems fed? Do you build dedicated integrations to each and every one of these systems? Arguably not. That's where you strategize based on countries, right? For countries with the most employees, these get full-blown process integration. So see, for example, in Germany, for this country, for this customer, we had SAP payroll systems, 2 of them, and we built full-blown duplicate integrations between SuccessFactors and these payroll systems. So data was running from SuccessFactors to SAP and back. So real deep process integration. Then after that, you define a critical number here. So in this case, if you see, the critical number is approximately around 400, because after that, it kind of tries to, the employee count, tapers off, right? So anything less than 400 employees, this country or this payroll system will be serviced by a one-size-fits-all global payroll template process. This process can be written in MuleSoft, can be written in CPI, Azure, where not, but this is a one-size-fits-all process. It's going to read data from SuccessFactors and drop it off into a data persistency like an SFTP or some other thing. The onus of ingesting this into the payroll systems is completely on them, right? So we have dealt with the really big countries. We've dealt with the long tail countries. This is basically called the long tail I'm talking about. This is the long tail I'm talking about. What happens to these people here? What happens to these countries here? So these are neither too big. 7,200 is really not a small number either, but contextually speaking, it's quite small. So This is where you go into discussions with local payroll administrators and product owners. And depending on payroll vendors and how complicated it is, for example, ADP can never be dealt with a one size fits all process. You need dedicated integration pipelines, so we need to custom build it, right? So again, coming to the context, everything has a context, and the context here is the number of employees. Well, talking about time strategy, so is employee central time is improving with every release. They are on their way to bring parity with SAP time, but time is a complicated topic. There is no hard and fast rule here. So depending mainly on whether you are fine with status quo or you want to bring about disruption, you choose one or the other. It also depends on whether you are a greenfield project or a brownfield project. It's up to you to make the decision. Finally, one of the key factors that has made the decision easy for customers is what kind of a company are you. If you're an automobile or a manufacturing company, very very high on work schedules, rostering, shift planning, whatnot, you're probably better off sticking to status quo, at least for now, right? So this kind of brings me to the end, more or less, of my talk here. But I would like to end this with a strong focus. This is my last strategy, eighth strategy here. Focus on effective change management. So I was talking about status quo earlier. Status quo is something that's going to be seriously hampered once you implement SuccessFactors. Well-oiled business processes will be changed. Your PA30, PA40 routines on your SAP HCM system, that's going to change definitely forever. All your standard operating procedures will have to be rewritten. Even the simple hire to pay process will become a multi-system hybrid process. So this means you're going to have to rely on workflow tools to get your job done. I've seen at times business and IT teams, they tend to get confused, at times a little frustrated, and at times even they feel a bit incompetent, although they definitely are not. These are all the reasons. These reasons underline the very need for a sound and efficient change management project. Run it alongside your digitization project. So if you have a digitization project running, just create a change management project right next to it and start running it from day one. Involve your stakeholders, involve your payroll teams, your IT teams very closely with this project team that is really doing the digitization. Train your teams, train your HR teams, train your IT teams with all the new tools that they have to work with. Empower your direct employees, not your administrators. Empower your employees with more ESS, MSS tools. So this is going to lessen the burden on your business teams to a large extent. And finally, I'm a big believer in tech. Invest in tech. Tech helps, and when implemented right, it delivers.